So hey guys, I'm sorry that I haven't got a video up. I apologize. I've been moving from my old house and moving into my new house. And not only that, but I've had some setbacks. My pet raccoon died. My wife left me, and then the truck, my old trusty Chevy Silverado, broke down on me on the freeway while I was moving. So that kind of put things back behind schedule. Without further ado, I wanted to show you a video I did about changing a starter out on a Honda Accord V6 manual. There is a difference between the manual starter, or a starter for a manual transmission, and a starter for an automatic transmission. So make sure that you get the right starter when doing this job. So there's a difference between the manual transmission and the automatic transmission version of this. But this will work on your Acura TLs, 2004, 2005, 2006 Acura TLs, and your 2003 Honda Accords, 2004, 2005, 2006, and 2007. But let me walk you through this. It's not really hard at all. So not very many tools that you need. You need a 13 millimeter wrench. You need a 17 millimeter wrench. You get 17 millimeter is used for the two long bolts. There's a bolt on top. There's a bolt on bottom. The 13 millimeter wrench is for taking off the 12 volt power supply directly from the battery. And then you have a signal wire that you have to take off. The starter actually sits on the right hand side of the vehicle, driver's side. I'm going to go ahead and remove the 12 volt power supply to the starter. It's a good idea to always disconnect the negative battery terminal from your battery, so you don't get any sparks or mishaps when you're taking off the 12 volt power supply right from the starter. If you don't, you could have a bad spark incident. So right there, I'm just taking the nut off. There's a lock washer and a nut that holds on the 12 volt power supply. Next thing you need to do is go ahead and loosen up the bolts that hold in the starter. I started on the bottom bolt and just working that thing out. Takes forever. Should have used a pneumatic or an electric tool there. Working on the top bolt. The top one is relatively short compared to the bottom one. And then you got to get the signal wire off. Signal wire is just like a butt connector, like a spade connector. So there's the top bolt right there. What I'm showing you there is the bottom bolt. It's a lot longer than the top one, and I'll show that to you here in a second. So just working it out, and the starter is loose. So you pull the starter up. I just moved the two radiator hoses out of the way, and you do need access to the bottom of the vehicle. There is a plastic panel that sits in there, just a couple clips that hold the panel in place. So take that out. And there's the two bolts. The one on the left is the one for the bottom. The one on the top is the one for the one on the right is the one for the top. But yeah, I actually have this vehicle up on jacks, or ramps, I should say. So just working the starter up and out. That's the easiest way I found to do it. If you guys know of an easier way, go ahead and leave a comment below. I don't think a lot of people know about Bundys Garage, so if you can, please share on your social media or give a comment out or let people know about the money I've helped you guys save. I'm just comparing the two starters there, making sure they match up. The old one is on top, the new one's on bottom. The old one is a OE Honda starter, so that's been in there for 170,000 miles. 15 years. I picked up the starter from guys that remanufacture them down in Riverside, California. I'll put a link in the description below. So I'm just writing the date that I did the starter and the mileage, and then put my name on there just so I know when it was completed. So I'm just leading it back down, just leading the starter back down, and installation is the reverse of removal. Just make sure you get your bolts in the right place. There wasn't really anything real hard about this job. Just make sure you have if you have the Honda OE radio, make sure you have the radio code so that when you disconnect your battery, you can re-enter the radio code and your radio will work again. That's a big thing you need to have. So you just bring in the top bolt, bring in the bottom bolt, and then work in the 12 volt power supply lead. And then bring in your signal wire. Your signal wire sits just to the top right of the 12 volt power lead. And basically it gives a signal to the starter when you turn the key to actually engage the, it's like an armature that pushes out the gears on the starter motor, so that the starter motor will actually engage on the flywheel and turn the engine over. So I won't bore you with the rest of this. It's very straightforward, not really hard at all. There you go, guys. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to Bundys Garage on YouTube. Questions, comments, concerns, you can always reach out to me at bundysgarage@gmail.com. And like always, I'll keep them rolling for you.